Alright, we're in Photoshop CS5 today. You can be whatever Photoshop you want, it works fine. We're going to make some halftones and separate some line type. So here's my design. If you end up getting this when you open your image, always uncheck anti-alias. Set your size, inches. I'm going to do 11 inches wide. And OK. So always make sure anti-alias is unchecked. It'll put a little blur around the edge of your type if it's not. Alright, we need to separate the type away from these because I want these to be halftones and I don't want the line type to be halftones. So we'll separate this line type and these spot colors out, and then we'll make this restaurant equipment into halftones. So I'm going to start by just naming this layer here to original artwork, so I know that that's our original. I'm going to make sure I'm going to edit and the color settings are set to the Photoshop default, North America, general purpose 2, and hit OK. And we're ready to go. Let's see, our image size should be 11 inches wide. Resolution 300 is fine. That's the maximum resolution you want until we make the halftones, and we're going to bump that up to get a finer dot. So for now, let's separate the text here away from the images. So first thing, I'm just going to take all this gray with the magic wand tool. Tolerance 32 is fine. Make sure all this is unchecked and select that. Now it's going to select all this junk, but I'm going to erase that. I just want this text, so we're all good. I'm going to go ahead and right click and hit similar just for the heck of it, just so make sure it selects all this gray. I'm going to right click and layer copy. Now uncheck this eyeball of the original, and you see we have just our gray text, and you can name it whatever you want, gray text. And then we're going to go ahead and erase the images here. Why is my eraser so small all of a sudden? Turn that eraser up. I'm going to turn it up more than that. There we go. Now I'll just get rid of these images. They're already preserved in the original artwork, so I already have them. I don't want them in this layer. There, now we have a gray text layer, and we have the original artwork layer. Alright, now we got to get I'm going to select the original artwork layer again, and I'm going to get the GF restaurant equipment by going back to my magic wand tool. Now this time I'm going to check contiguous because I don't want it to select anything in the images. And I'm going to zoom in, control plus, one more plus. Now I'm going to go back one more plus. Okay, control minus, control plus. Now I'm going to select the white. Now it just selects all the white in there. I'm going to hold shift to continue selecting all the white. So hold shift and just keep clicking on all the white until you get it all. Like so. A little tedious, but it works in the end. There might be an easier way to do it, but it really doesn't take that long. It's not that big a deal. Let's get in here and hit all the white or all your colors you want. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue to hold shift, and I'm going to click all the black that I want. And you can see that outline that it has selected when all the black's outlined like that. I'm going to let go of shift for a minute. It's not going to hurt anything, and I'm going to control plus again, and that way I can get closer on this black. Now I'm going to hold shift again, still with my magic wand selected, and click on the black. and you can see it selects the black. It looks like it got this black, but I'm gonna just keep clicking on the black while holding shift. You see this black, the outline starts going around the black. It means it's selected. And I'll get this one over here. I'm gonna come down here and get these while I'm here. And just do this for any of the colors you don't want to be in that halftone. Okay. Scroll over a little bit, come down. You can let go of shift to move it around, and then I'll come back to where I stopped, which is the A. I'm going to hold shift again and just continue to hold shift and click all the colors that I want. Come down here to where I left off, and T. Okay, I'm going to let go of shift and move this around. Looks like I got everything. I'm going to control minus to zoom out. Now you can see all that selected. So now I'm going to right click, and this time I'm going to cut that layer so everything's out of my image area or my halftone area. So right click on there and layer cut. There. Now have a look at that. That doesn't look right. What am I missing here? Oh, I didn't get all those little these little outlines inside the text. So I'm gonna go back and see. Yeah, so we're missing those little black outlines. So I'm gonna step back. So Control Alt Z. There, now everything's back. So before I cut it, you can see over here it's just these two layers. So I'm gonna zoom in and get all those little pieces I missed. If you turn up your tolerance, it would probably get those, but I believe it was here. I'm going to hold shift, click inside there, click inside here. What else is A here? Make sure I get just any of these ones with a little gray in the middle. The equipment. Let's try that. Right click, layer cut. Give that a look. And I missed the R. Okay, Control Alt Z, undo. Now I have to redo all this again. Hold shift, get in the R this time. Hard to tell if it's selected unless you really zoom way in on it. Looks like it's still selected though, but I'll go ahead and select that again. Okay, right click, layer cut. And it looks like we have everything we need. Yes, we do. Control minus, and then go back to original, make sure nothing's left behind. There, now we have just that image we want to break into halftones. Let's see here. So we have our regular text, there's our gray text, and then when we add the halftones to it, we'll be good to go. So you might want to go ahead and spot color separate the white out of this. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to break this all down. Let's see, we'll go uncheck contiguous, and I'm going to select the white. Right click, similar, right click. I'm going to do layer cut. And now I have white. Now this layer is just going to be black. Black text. So we have gray text, white, and black text. Gray text, black text, and white. So now I'm going to go ahead and choke the, or add a stroke to the white. I'm going to select the white just so that it touches nicely against the black. Doesn't look like it's all that bad the way it is. But just for safe measures, I'm going to go ahead and add a stroke. Effects, stroke, color, white. Okay, and the stroke, just 1 pixel. And that's it. Okay, so now I know for sure that there's not going to be any gaps in between the white and the black. Zoom way in just to give it a peek. Now you could add a stroke to the black too if you really wanted, but it all looks good, no gaps. Control minus. Okay, so now we have our 3 colors ready to print, just about. Now I'm going to go ahead and make everything black so when we print it that it prints out black. So gray text, effects, color overlay, color picker, slide that past the bottom corner so everything's 0 or just all zeros here. Hit OK. Now that's all black. And hit OK. I'm going to do the same to the white. Effects, color overlay, color black. Okay. Now you see that the white's all black, ready to print, and the black text is already black, so we don't need to make that black. So black, white, and gray. Now you see there's a little line or a space in here, it looks like. I don't know why that's there. We added that stroke. Let's check that stroke color. Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta change the stroke color to black as well. That's why that's there. I'll leave it the same color just so I can see when I'm working with the original, but when we go to print, we want everything black so it prints black. So now you see there's no really big gap in there. There's a little gap, but the ink's not even. Look, it's filled in. So you have, that's the white, and then the black outline goes on there. You get the point, right? So I would go ahead and just print these 3 layers as a whole. Whenever you print, you're printing the layers. So if you want to print the gray layer, make sure the eyeball is selected. It doesn't have to be highlighted like this. Only when you're editing, it has to be highlighted. When you're printing, it's only going to print the eyeball. So if you want to send all the eyeballs to the printer at once, it'll print them in each one at a time, 1, 2, 3. But you have to make sure that your film's loaded. If you just want to do one at a time, just select one eyeball, file, print. Uncheck that center image and move it where you want it. Select your printer, your print size. If you want crop marks, check crop marks. They're going to be under output. Color management, Photoshop manage colors is fine. That's all you need. And then just go ahead and hit print. See, it's only printing this, the one I have checked. That's the gray text. That's what that is. If I select the white, it's only going to print the white. Control P. There, that's the white. That's what it's going to print. Just hit print. Black text. Put it where you want it. If you want your crop marks, hit print. You already sized the image. See, this is 13 wide. Our image is 11. We have 1 inch on each side. Print. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this file, and we're going to work on the halftones. File, save as. GF text seps. So there, our text is separated from this. Our file saved. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete all these because those are already printed. We don't need them anymore. Because when I turn this image into halftones, it's going to turn everything into halftones. And all I want are these. So I'm just going to get rid of this. We already separated and printed it. We don't need it anymore. Delete that. Delete, oops. Delete this layer. Delete this layer. There. This is all we have now. The original artwork is all I want because we've already printed the separations. So now I'm going to go ahead and delete this text or erase it. We don't need that. We already separated that. All we want is this halftone. Alright, so image mode. You have to turn this into a grayscale before you can turn it into a bitmap. Bitmaps, you only work with gray objects. So now it's a grayscale. Now I can go back to image mode and turn it into a bitmap. Flatten layers, okay. You might see a size ratio pop up. Just hit OK to anything that pops up. Now my input's 300, but if I use 300, it's not going to give me a good dot size. I usually use 1500, 1440, whatever. It's good. Just a high resolution so you get a nice round clean dot. If you put on 300, you're going to have jagged edges around your dot. Make sure your output is high. And your method is the halftone screen. And hit OK. Lines per inch. Usually 60 to 85 is good. Sometimes I do 150 lines per inch. It depends on how tight you want your dot to be. For screen printing, 60 to 85 is probably good. I'm just going to do 80. I like a 45-degree angle. You can use 25, whatever you like. 45 is a common angle. 22.5 is a common angle. Elliptical dot shape is fine. Hit OK. There you go. Now you have your halftone. Control plus. Zoom in. You can see it's a nice. You have a nice shadow tone there. Your midtones are good. And you look at the highlight dots, nice and small. So you have a really nice halftone. Control back, back, back. It doesn't look that good zoomed out, but when you print it, it'll look good. Now I gave it this background. And everything's going to be locked. You won't be able to, well, maybe you will. No, you won't. Let's see. Magic eraser. See, it won't let you see. You have to turn this back into a grayscale now to edit it. The grayscale and hit OK. Now, make sure everything's unchecked with the background eraser selected. Magic eraser, I mean. And just click on that and get rid of the background. And that's it. Go ahead and hit File, Print, put it where you want it, crop marks, output's good, and don't worry about color management. This is fine. Everything here is fine. Photoshop manages colors because we're not doing separations or anything like that. Hit print. That's pretty much it. And so we already printed the 3 text files on the film, printed this halftone on the film. And just burn your plates or your screens. We'll go ahead and save that as GF halftone. You're good to go. Hope you enjoyed. Get to work, people. I'm back in the original file kind of here. We got to make a white base real quick. Here's what we got so far. We got the separations, the gray text, the white, and the black outlines that white there. So you have those three separations. The original artwork I cut the white out of, I believe. Yeah, so we could just take this and make a halftone. I'm going to make a white base out of this original artwork. I'm going to go ahead and make a white base for all this. If you don't want this down here, just tape it off or something. I'm going to take this marquee tool, this square selecting tool here. I'm just going to select this whole bit of artwork there. Now it's selected, and I'm going to right click and say layer copy. So now we just have everything that was selected. I could have done it all in the original artwork, but I want to keep that original just in case I have to do anything to it. So this is going to be the white base. Now that's selected and highlighted. Now I just want to turn all this black, solid black, so you have a solid base. So just go to the fill bucket here. It should be right there. Fill bucket is selected, and the color here is black. Make sure that it'll probably start by looking like this, contiguous and all this checked. Just uncheck this stuff. I'm going to crank the tolerance up to 150. That way when I go to fill, it's going to fill everything. So I'm just going to come in here, wherever, with my fill bucket and just hit left click. There, that's a white base. That's it. So you have the white base, the black, the white, and that. For some reason, there's still a stroke going on here. It looks like Control Plus. But when you zoom in, it's gone. It's just the way Photoshop. If you see here, there's no choking going on there, so it just looks like that from a distance. So you're all good to print. Just print each one of these eyeballs one at a time if you want to. You can pull this layers thing out if you want, so you can see what you're doing. So if you go to print the gray, file print, and it shows you the gray. It might set your page size up so that you're at the Super B 1319 or whatever. There, see, that's the gray. Uncheck that, move it around. Hit print. Photoshop manages colors. Under color management's fine. It doesn't really matter what's selected here. You're just going to print black, so. Output, you might want to put your registration marks. Hit print. Do that for each color. White. Print. Uncheck that. Up here, move it around. Output, put your center marks. Print. Black, same thing. Uncheck that, move it where you want it. Output, center marks, print. White base. Move it where you want it. Output, center marks, print. And that's it. You got all your 4 colors there printed. And then I made that halftone file and saved it here. That's the halftone. Just go to File, Print. Center it where you want it. Output, center marks, print. That's all you need to do. Done. You zoom in, you got a nice halftone there. See? Nice shadows, nice midtones, nice highlights. You shouldn't need to use AccuRip or RIP software. It's already dots. Your printer will print it just like this. It'll print all these little dots, just the way it is. Just a regular print, no rip or anything. And it's a nice halftone, nice dots. Zoom in. You can see they're a little jaggedy, but that's zoomed way in. But we cranked that resolution way up, 1500. That gives us a pretty nice round dot. If it was a lower resolution, that would be a lot more jaggedy. But on your film and on your shirt, it's gonna look good. All right, and that's it. Happy printing.